So now let's go ahead and try to access the user profile model and try to add some profiles in here. So when you click on this particular add profile button, as you can see, it's going to give you a form to add a user profile. Now, even before you add the user profile, you need to select a particular user. So let's say I'm going to add the user profile for my admin user, which is my name right here. So I simply select that. And now it's going to ask me to choose an image. So I'll click over here. And what I will do is that I'll simply select a particular image from my desktop. So I'll go to desktop and I'll select this particular image, which is my image right here. So I'll click on open and it's going to upload the image for me. And now location. So I'll simply type in my city location over here. And when I click on save, it's actually going to go ahead and create the user profile for me. So now if I go ahead and click on my profile right here for my username, as you can see, I will have the information like the username, the image and the location. So I can go ahead, save this or even edit this if I want to. So now let's go ahead and learn where exactly the image is uploaded in my case for this particular profile user. So in order to know that, what we will do is that we'll open up the terminal, we'll stop the server for now, and we will try to access the Python shell. So I'll type in python3 manage.py shell to get access to shell. Now once we are into this particular shell, what we will do is that we will access the inbuilt user model. So I'll type in from django.contrib.auth.models import user. So once we have the user model imported, let's try to go ahead and access the user which we have currently created the profile for. So I'll type in user equals user dot, and in order to get the object, I'll type in objects, and we are going to filter the object depending upon the username. So I'll type in filter over here, and we are going to filter by username. So where username is going to be my name, and in your case you might add your name over there, and I'll type in dot first to get the first result of this particular object. So when I go ahead and do that, and when I type in user, as you can see, we get the username over here. So now in order to get the profile, I can simply type in user.profile, and when I go ahead and hit enter, I will also get the profile for my username. Now in order to access the image, we can go ahead and type in user.profile.image. So when I go ahead and do that, as you can see, we'll get the image field file right here, and that file is present nowhere else, but it's actually present in the profile pictures directory, and the name of that image is myname.jpg. Now I've actually named that image over here, that's why it's going to have my name over here, but in case if we have uploaded some other image, it's going to have a different name. So now we need to learn where exactly do we have this particular directory, which is the profiles pictures directory. So now if you go ahead, open up your code editor, and if you scroll through the files right here, as you can see, you will have the profile pictures directory, and you will also have your image up over here. So that means Django is actually storing the profile pictures right inside the main directory, which is the directory which contains all the app and the my site project. But we don't actually want to go ahead and do it this way. Instead, we want to organize this particular images systematically in some sort of other folder. So now we need to tell Django that don't store these images up over here, instead store them in a different directory. So how exactly can we go ahead and make changes to that? So whenever you want to make changes to the path where these images are stored, we simply go to settings.py file, and we are going to define a variable which is called as media root. So I'll type in media underscore root over here, and this is actually going to have the path where the images are actually stored. Now in the previous cases, we have also defined the paths for the login redirect URL, the login URL, and everything like that, and these were the actual URLs which were present on the website. But in this case, we are not actually going to store images on our website. Instead, we want to save those images on our server. So what exactly do I mean by that? So we do have the image field over here, which is this field right here in our database model, But in reality, what's going to happen is that this image is not going to be stored in database because storing images in a database is highly inefficient. Instead, those images are actually be present on our server. So in our case, our server is nothing but our computer. So in this case, we want to store those images up on our computer. So here, in case of media root, we are not going to define the path which is going to be present on our website or our web application. Instead, we actually want to store this onto our operating system. So I'll type in os.path, which is going to get the current path of our directory or of our project. So we'll type in os.path.join, and we are going to join the current path, which is the base directory. So I'll type in base dir over here, and base directory is nothing but the path of our current project. So we are going to use that, and we are going to join it with the new directory which we want to create. So in here, instead of directly having the profile pictures directory, let's say you want to create another directory which is going to contain the profile pictures directory and then contain the images. So let's say that directory is going to be named as pictures. So I'll simply add pictures over here. Now the way in which Django will work is that Django will actually create the pictures directory in the main project, and in that pictures directory we are going to have another directory which is profile pictures, which is going to save our images. Now once we go ahead and do that, and once we want to access those saved images, what we also want to do is that we also want to define the URL where the media of our application lies. So in order to do that, I'll type in media_URL, and that's going to be equal to nothing but this particular pictures directory right over here. So I'll go ahead and type in /pictures, and then we are good to go. Now once we go ahead and do that, the changes won't be reflected in our current user models. So if you go to the current user model, that particular image is still going to be present over here in the profile pictures directory. But now if we go ahead and just start the server, so let me first exit this particular shell and then start the server by typing in python 3 manage.py run server. And now once the server is up and running, I can hit refresh. I can access this particular thing, delete my profile, and let's add a new profile for the same user. And now let's select my picture. Let's add my location as well. And when I click on save, now if you go to the code editor, as you can see, you will have a new directory over here which is called as pictures. And now this pictures directory will have another directory which is called as profile pictures, and that's eventually going to contain all the images, which means that we now have a systematic way to save images in a particular directory so that our project won't get cluttered. So that's it for this lecture. And in the next lecture, what we will do is that now as we have the image and now as we have the other information about the profile as well, we can go ahead and start working on this profile page so that it also displays the image as well as the location. So in the next lecture, we will go ahead and we will learn how to access the image over here on the profile page. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.